Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mind Games, where our aim is to give you a concise yet informative take on a broad range of subjects ranging from earth sciences and astronomy, history, and even a bit of philosophy. Now, with all that being said, let's get into today's topic. Us humans are pretty exceptional at most things that we put our minds to. The ingenuity that we're capable of to cross obstacles, climb new peaks of knowledge, and shape the world around us has placed us firmly as a dominant species on this planet. However, there's another area that we excel at, and as is our capability for conflict with other humans and thereby our ability to craft weapons in which to inflict maximum harm on our adversaries. This darker side of our nature is on full display with our predisposition to war, and no war in human history has been as vast in its totality or cost more in blood and treasure than the Second World War. In this global conflict, more than 50 nations, with over 100 million soldiers engaged in some of the most brutal combat in history. And this conflict was on display some of the most devastating firepower that humans had developed up to this point. And so for this video, we're going to take a look at some of the most famous firearms used in this conflict that shaped the geopolitics of the world for generations to come. M1 Garand, country of origin, United States. Caliber, 30-06 Springfield. Magazine capacity, 8 rounds. Weight, 9.5 pounds unloaded, 11.6 pounds loaded. Rate of fire, 50 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 2,800 feet per second. The M1 Garand, named after its designer John Garand, is a semi-automatic rifle chambered in the powerful 30-06 cartridge, fed by a proprietary 8-round clip. It was issued widely to U.S. Army and U.S. Marine Corps infantry, and over 5.4 million units were produced during the span of this war. This rifle weighs 9.5 pounds and is about 43 inches long. The semi-automatic function of this weapon allowed American troops to use this for medium to long-range applications, with a decent suppressive effect that bolt-action rifles lacked, paired with a high-potency 30-06 cartridge. This weapon saw such widespread success, it was kept around for the following conflict in Korea, just a decade later, and even further into the Vietnam War before finally being phased out. Number 2. MP40. Country of origin, Germany. Caliber, 9x19 Parabellum. Magazine capacity, 32 rounds. Weight, 8.75 pounds. Rate of fire, 550 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 1,300 feet per second. This cheap-to-produce and highly versatile submachine gun was a staple of German infantry, paratroopers, police, and armored crews alike. This weapon's only mode of fire is automatic, which suits its intended purpose of close-quarters combat of usually under about 50 meters or less. This weapon was especially effective in house clearing or putting a large volume of accurate fire into a group of enemies for suppression effect. From 1940 to 1945, about 1.1 million MP40s have been manufactured. Number 3. PPSH-41. Country of origin, Russia. Caliber, 7.62 by 25 mm Tokarev. Magazine capacity, 71 rounds. Weight, 8 pounds unloaded, 12 pounds loaded with a standard 71 round mag. Rate of fire, 1,250 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 1,600 feet per second. As the German war machine pressed east, many of the Soviets' weapon caches and factories were captured or destroyed, and so was their luxury of churning out high-quality weapons. So they needed a weapon that was exceedingly simple, could be mass-produced by an unskilled labor force, excelled in the extreme close-quarters fighting that marked the German siege of Russian cities like Stalingrad, and had a blistering rate of fire with a large magazine. So was born the PPSH-41. This submachine gun vastly outperformed its German counterpart in the intended role of a close-quarters combat weapon, as it had a far larger magazine and over double its rate of fire, making it ideal for infantry sweeping buildings and armored crews alike. This is widely regarded as the gun that saved Russia, and over 6 million units were produced from 1941 to 1947, and by spring of 1942, factories solely dedicated to making this gun were churning out about 3,000 units per day, handing them out to any available body person who could fight. Number 4. MG42. Country of origin, Germany. Caliber, 7.62 by 57mm Mauser. Magazine capacity, 50 round drum or belt fed. Weight, 25.57 pounds. Rate of fire, 1200 to 1500 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 2420 feet per second. This general purpose machine gun was produced from 1942 to 1945 as a supporting weapon of German infantry units. The German High Command literally built their squad structures around this machine gun, as its capability to lay down such devastating firepower proved highly advantageous over the competition. This weapon was so psychologically crippling to Allied forces who had to face a machine gun nest that the Department of War had to develop propaganda films to convince new recruits that this weapon wasn't actually as terrible as it seemed. But the veterans who had faced this weapon's terrible capabilities in the field knew all too well the respect it deserved. Number 5. M1 Thompson. Country of origin, US. Caliber, 45 ACP. Magazine capacity, 20 to 30 rounds. Weight, 10 pounds. Rate of fire, 700 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 935 feet per second. This potent weapon, nicknamed the Street Sweeper, was used heavily by Allied troops ranging from commando units conducting raids to tank crews who needed a compact weapon to fend off enemy forces overrunning their positions. This gun had the ability to load up high-capacity 50-round drum magazines early on, but due to feeding malfunctions and overly complex loading status, also as an excessive weight, these were swapped out for much more reliable 20 and 30-round box magazines. The weapon had about 1.75 million units produced across its variants from 1921 to 1945, and gained a substantial notoriety among America's criminal underworld during the Prohibition era. Number 6. Type 99. Country of origin, Japan. Caliber, 7.7 by 58mm Arisaka. Magazine capacity, 30 rounds. Weight, 23 pounds. Rate of fire, 800 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 2,400 feet per second. As the Japanese Imperial Army laid claim to the innumerable island chains in the Pacific, they set up defenses, airfields, and installations in which to conduct operations from. But they also knew that Allied forces would be contesting these islands to gain a strategic foothold. Among their defensive armament was a Type 99 light machine gun. This supporting infantry weapon was light enough to be carried by a single soldier, but also had the firepower to suppress entire Allied squads with 30-round magazines, and also with a 2.5 times telescopic sight. This machine gun could be used as a precision weapon with short controlled burst. This weapon proved devastating to advancing Allied troops trying to navigate the unfamiliar volcanic terrain, and was perfect for ambush operations from foxholes and cliffsides. Number 7. Bren. Country of origin, Great Britain. Caliber, 303 British. Magazine capacity, 30 rounds. Weight, 22.8 pounds unloaded, 25 pounds loaded. Rate of fire, 500 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity, 2,440 feet per second. At the end of World War I, the British Army realized it needed a replacement to its heavy and unwieldy squad-level machine guns that were prone to malfunction and could not swap barrels during combat to prevent overheating. This is where the Bren came into concept. The Bren was primarily operated on a bipod from the prone position by a two-man team, one to carry the fire of the weapon, the other to spot targets and provide magazines. These large 30-round magazines were curved and fed from the top of the weapon as to assist in feeding and reduce stoppages. This weapon performed quite well during the war, and saw a total production run of 1938 all the way to 2006, and still pops up from time to time in third world conflicts ranging from the Middle East to Africa to this day. World War II is by far and away the bloodiest conflict in human history, and while the true numbers will never be known, estimates place a conservative number of about 70 million dead in just 6 years. The weapons we cover in this video were designed just for that purpose, to be the most effective killing machines possible, but it is as much testament to humanity's violent nature as is our ability to innovate and continue improving upon existing technology that makes our species so creative with its own destruction. Who knows what weapons future wars will be fought with, But if we all work together for true peace and understanding, we may never have to find out. As always, if you liked the video, we would really appreciate a like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified of new content as soon as it's posted on the channel. And as always, guys, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.